Hello, this is me, the Hub Critic, back again with another video. I can't even talk today. And it's the Friday show. To quick notice, because of course I'm uploading this so goddamn late, it's not even funny. But, yeah, apparently it's like earlier in America. So, for you guys, it's the Friday show. For us British, it's pretty much, well, us GMT and Europeans, it's pretty much Saturday. But let's get on with this anyway, and let's get into the show. So, again, I'm probably presenting it a little bit differently today. Look at me on the computer, and I'm doing it weird today. So, I'm going to talk about some news segments, and yeah, that's been an interesting week, to say the least. So, our first news story here, it's CM Punk. And CM Punk, as we know, is fighting in the UFC 203, and he's been kind of hyping up for like nearly 2 years at this point. He signed in December 2014, if I believe right, and he has had a documentary series, and he's been practicing, training from the ground up to make his Octagon debut. In this article, it says that he's making his debut at UFC 203, but it's a good guess that he's not fighting for pocket change. Again, he is facing Mickey Gall, and I listened to an interview with CM Punk. He said that he got, there's a lot of obviously controversy about CM Punk. He hasn't fought a MMA match before, or he doesn't know how to fight, or he shouldn't be given this opportunity. But in all fairness, he is giving Mickey Gall, who otherwise probably wouldn't get an opportunity to do this himself, an opportunity to go into UFC. So it kind of works both ways in that perspective. So to just talk about the weight here, I don't really care that much. But, here's the interesting bit here. Punk has made very humble leading into the UFC debut, as he looks to transition into mixed martial arts with less than 2 years of training to get ready. That's pretty crazy. He's not going to talk shit about the other opponent. He's just going to, get in there and wrestle. And he's going to go and do his best to succeed. And I respect his ethics. His main thing, I think, in my opinion, is he wants to inspire others to do the same, and that kind of is kind of cool. I like that. Still, the former pro wrestler Sharp Tongue has no problem lashing out when Gall decided to get into the verbal sparring match between the two. One Punk will probably win every and each time. Now I'm gonna do a quick opinion, because next Saturday, as we know, this fight is on. So next week, I will probably be reading my predictions ahead of this fight. Again, I'm not the biggest UFC fan. I do watch fights from one at a time. I did see the whole Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor fight at 202. So I will be watching this fight at 203. Coincidentally, probably watching the main event as well. I won't be telling you my predictions right now, but I can tell you CM Punk seemingly has, in my opinion, has pretty good odds. So I'm just gonna put that out there. I was a bit like against it up till now, and a bit like, really? But come on, it's CM Punk. He's not gonna walk into a room blind, is he now? Our next news story, and it's to do with wrestling, and that's kind of a different channel for me technically, where I do talk about wrestling. It's called Tim and Jordan Wrestling. Links below, but I decided I'll give you one little news story in today's segment, because it's about NXT TakeOver. You guys enjoy NXT? Hopefully you do, because I used to do WWE stuff on this all the time channel. So I'm going to get back into it. So, for the first time ever, NXT TakeOver will be broadcast in Canada on Saturday, November 19th. Just like we saw on SummerSlam at the Barclays Center in New York, by airing TakeOver, SummerSlam, and Raw all in the same building on 3 consecutive nights. The Air Canada Center in Toronto, not Tokyo, will be hosting 3 events in the Survivor Series weekend. And we all remember, obviously Brooklyn's a big thing. Brooklyn 1, Brooklyn 2, Brooklyn 3 is coming next year. By the way, back to New York, one of the best NXT crowds out there, arguably the best. They're going to Toronto. Now, interestingly enough, all the main events will be performing. They have not been in Canada. Oh, sorry, the first Survivor Series in Canada since Montreal in 1997. So that's a long, long time ago. You gotta remember, this is kind of a big deal, and honestly, I'm very excited, because again, it's gonna be an interesting ride. And you know, when they do their Raws from Toronto, they always get some interesting crowds out there, so you never know what you're gonna expect. So that's gonna be a really, really interesting thing. And honestly, I really excited. I don't care what they do NXT TakeOver. I hope they do one in. They've obviously done one in London, maybe somewhere else in Britain, and possibly in Ireland. That would be historical because they've never done a WWE taped event from Ireland before. I don't think they've done live events, but of course they've done live events. Takeover Dublin would be awesome. So I'm still waiting. Because that's where I'm from, by the way. I'm not Dublin, but close to Dublin. But yeah, I could go. That's the thing. Yeah, we'll talk about. I'm not sure what to talk about first. I'm gonna go ahead. The main event of today is basically news. It's news from this week mainly, but it's about the community guidelines. Now I'm gonna go through some of these things again. I might have just actually broken a few in this video already, and I'm gonna quickly just explain what this is. So, what it is it's a community guidelines, right? So, there's been a lot of controversy about, you already know, mostly. I might watch this video on this episode right now and just, watch it and see what it says.
Every day, millions of people around the world post content to Google platforms. Things like videos on YouTube, blog posts on Blogger.
Okay, so the basic idea, I'm not going to go through the video because obviously the frame rate is so shoddy on this, but I'll leave a video while I'm talking here. But at the moment, what's happening is the YouTube are setting some serious guidelines for advertising purposes, because obviously they want to attract people to use advertising with them. So if you are, monetizing a video, making money from it, they want you to follow certain guidelines so that so that they make more money, they stay PG, they attract advertisers. Like in a TV network, you're not going to have inappropriate ads at 6 p.m. Again, you need to find your crowd. So again, it's sort of this messy place of they're trying to clean everything up a bit. The internet, it's very hard to do that. But I'm going to go quickly through some of the rules here. So here are some common sense rules that keep you clear of trouble. And obviously these are the things that if you want to make a video and monetize it and make money from it, you cannot do these things. So we'll go through them quickly. Nudity or sexual content. Now, obviously, people have been saying this is quite vague. So I don't really understand this one, to be honest. I get this one. I get, obviously you can't do any of this, so obviously that's pretty obvious. Harmful or dangerous content. Don't quite know what that means. I mean, to be honest, obviously beating people up to an underage is incredibly severe, but are you going to say that, actual movies are going to get banned? Obviously not, but, fighting, that's obviously not going to ban. Violent or graphic content. So, it says here, it's not okay to post violent or gory content that's primarily to be shocking, sensational, or disrespectful. So, I mean, that's probably a fine line between, obviously fighting, UFC, stuff like that, which they're obviously not going to take down, and, real life things. So, I don't know where the line's going to be drawn there. It's going to be pretty interesting. Copyright, of course, copyright. That's a big thing on YouTube. I mean, that's a no-brainer, to be honest. I've had trouble with copyright in the past. I will explain that in a future video, but I have. Hateful content. So that would be bullying, cyberbullying, that sort of thing. That's going to be a hard one to patrol. It'd be interesting to see how they do that. Threats. Again, same thing. And spam, misleading, metadata, and scams. I don't really know what that is, but I don't really care. To be honest, I am kind of mixed on the whole thing of this. Now, if we go over to one of the news stories over here, Philip DeFranco, who I actually am a big fan of, he has obviously known for a satirical kind of delivery. He's quite deadpan in the way he just kind of goes out there, all out there. And when I say that, I mean kind of curses freely, which I'm not offended by. I don't think a lot of people who watch his content would be offended by. You kind of have to thick skin on these things. You can't be oh my god, I'm a fan of his, but I don't like his language. I mean, that's just not the way it is, to be honest. This sentence here, to be honest, DeFranco frequently swears in his videos and regularly refers to his followers as beautiful bastards. Now, the thing is, in the guidelines it says, To monetize a video, your video content metadata and thumbnail must be advertiser friendly. Now, inverted commas there, because it must contain no graphic content or excessive strong language. So apparently, obviously he's really annoyed with this, because of course this permits about a load of his videos, like over 20 of his videos were stopped from being monetized because of the language and the graphic nature of the videos. Here he is saying, seems like YouTube will be stripping most of my advertising from now on. Oh well, I'm going to censor myself. I'm not going to. At least 12 of my videos have been hit and I'm nowhere near done. So again, this is just a pretty amazingly dumb thing that YouTube have done, because again, it's a powerfully world, and again, he's a big celebrity, you gotta know that. So I mean, the whole idea of demonetizing him is taking away his livelihood as we know it. Now, though YouTube says the demonetization is the result of changes in its notification system and not a reflection of changes in its policies, it isn't clear why DeFranco and other vloggers are just getting flagged or content, and this is happening across the board. Leafy is suffering these problems. Leafy's here, if you know that, and a lot of major YouTubers. So it's quite like the copyright scams, where things have happened where you get hit with copyright for no apparent reason. There's just very vague lines where something's bad, something's good, and you could put this down to technical error. But again, if YouTube are blaming it on something that they've done, then they need to fix it. They need to fix it right away. If this is something where advertising, if they want to appeal to an advertising, they should just go out and say that. Don't hide behind your whatever, rest on your laurels, and don't tell anyone. That's a bad thing. So again, YouTube is shutting down my channel. I'm not sure what to do. It's a bit overreactive, but again, at the same time, he is suffering big time because of this. So he left a lengthy statement here. I'm not going to go through it, but the main gist of it is he's shutting down his channel basically, because he is not getting to do what he does if this continues on like this. So I mean, obviously Lawrence Southern and a lot of other YouTubers here, he's just continuing to tweet. YouTube tweeted saying no policy change here, just an improved notification process to ensure creators can appeal. So he claimed, and yes, an official statement that he would include in his video on September 1st. Again, I haven't read that. And here's the update. So while our policy of demonetizing videos due to advertiser-friendly concerns haven't changed, we've really improved the notification and whatever, la-di-da. Also, the Young Turks News channel has defended YouTube's decision, noting that while among the channels hardest hit by demonetization policy, the implementation of the notification appeal process was a positive change. So you can view this from two angles, really. I think that, honestly, I think it's not good. I think this is just really, it's too severe what they're doing, the changes that they're making, the way they're going about doing them. They're not making it clear for YouTubers, and they're not making it appropriate, they're not making it appropriately specify what's going on, to be honest. They did make a statement, but the whole statement saying, oh, we're obviously improving our notification system to make it a friendlier place, does that mean that they're going to scare away the more mature, or the more, obviously this more, language orientated? That's going to affect a lot of us, and obviously not me in particular, but again, other people that rely on their sense of, if that's their sense of comedy, then I respect that, to be honest. So yeah, let's move on before we get carried away. So on to more positive news. NBA 2K17 has been getting a few announcements. Of course, there's the hands-on impression of the game. Our first one, the speed of the game actually is gotten quicker. Now this doesn't mean that the game speed just fastened up and people have gotten faster and started running around. It just means not the pace has been field hurried. It just smoother, more carries more symmetry. So it's basically just more like a real match. You're watching a real match. It's more and more realistic. So I get behind that. That's cool. Contact. The various animations that stem from collisions, kind of variables each. So again, what happened is, so again, you can basically, what happens is they're more reactive. So again, James can draw fouls, but again, there's a lot of ways the AI can, to post up, defend, and do things. It's really interesting. I'm not describing this at all well. Precision has changed, which is pretty cool. I don't really know what that means, to be honest. And reaction. And yeah. So again, this is all cool stuff. The only thing I really understand here is play calling, to be honest. So you can choose freelance offenses on the fly, triangle to populate, and you can simply point the right stick in the direction of the look you're ready to run. It's much better in the wisely confusing. Yeah, I agree. The system that is in NBA 2K16, if you know, it's just really confusing. It pulls up a list and you have to choose a play. I don't even know what half the plays mean. I would like stick to like a couple that I kind of get. But again, if you're gonna use a visual style, props to them, because that's gonna make it a lot simpler. Life is gonna be a lot simpler. I sometimes just resort to, you know, running my own plays or just moving around, trying to get AI to be in a position, because I can't deal with the unpredictable nature of the play calls. So then the next one came up here, part 2 of the hands-on impression. I don't know where part 3 or part 4 are, but that's another story for another day. NBA Blacktop Concept returns, and this will be pretty interesting. I'm actually quite a big fan. Again, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4, and 5v5. Playing Out Online is back. My team is back. I'm kind of more interested in my team than Playing Out Online, personally. It's pretty much the same. But there's also a draft champions type thing, which is going to be interesting. I don't know how that's going to work, to be honest. But also, you know, other things. This is designed a quick multiplayer 3x3 game. Don't know how that's going to work, but again, we'll see. The cards in my team have been redesigned with a more transparent look. Here's a look at the tiers for cards. So again, there you go. Pause the video if you want to see that. There you go. Or leave the links in the description. My Park and Pro-Am are here. That's good. My league, my GM, and playoffs, as you can see from here. Same things as last time, except for playoffs. That's actually new. That came back from, I remember 2K13 it was in the game. So, again, I don't know why they got rid of it in the first place. It's one of the things like in WWE, they get rid of random modes for no reason. That really didn't need to go. And, again, there's expansion, which is really awesome. I'm really excited for that, because, again, you can add 6 teams to your league, which is going to be so good. So, instead of, like, you know, in 2K16 where you can switch where your player was, you can actually, so you can like get new teams from like different countries. I think that's what it means. Dynamic expansion, start 30 teams, and league will expand dynamically, which is again pretty interesting. Full league customization and other things like that. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much all. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Customization for shoes, create a player and a roster, really interesting. And yeah, overall it's going to be interesting. Again, let's talk about my career in the game, because Michael B. Jordan, who was famous for his Creed fame and also from Friday Night Lights, if you saw that, he was in that, Friday Night Lights, and Creed as Creed. And he's going to be in this game. Really excited about that. He is the My Career storyline. So the one we had in the Spike Lee joint from 2K16, it was good and all, but this year it's going to be look a lot more game focused. I mean, you got the cool new actual like pretty much actors playing these roles. Pretty much what I'm saying. But to be honest, go back here. There's also like new clips and stuff, so it looks like they were expanding My Career from last year. It's looking quite exciting to see what they do. There's some actually pretty cool pics I can look at, and it's really awesome actually. So yeah, again, that's going to be really cool to see how that works out. So far, I don't know anything about the gameplay. I don't know why I'm saying the gameplay looks better, but I've heard wonders about this, so yeah, I'm really excited. And it's going to be a mystery. It's going to be like an experiment to see what happens when we play that game, and that's going to be the first thing I touch when I touch that game. Well, maybe after playing a few matches. So yeah, that's always hotly anticipated mode for me. Next, our final story of the day, I think. Yeah, that'll probably be my final story of the day. And it is to do with Battlefield 1 Beta. Now, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the brutal of Beta. So here we go. Because obviously we know Battlefield 1 Beta hit this week. It looked beautiful. And I actually saw my friend play this. I was pretty jealous of him. If you've checked him out, RSU813, he was streaming it on Twitch for about an hour. And it looked pretty cool. I saw about 10 minutes of it. And to be honest, it looked fluid. The gameplay looked fluid. The actual visuals lived up to the trailer, and the weapons are pretty. And weapons are pretty cool, to be honest. Not sure about the whole vehicle aspect, but we'll see about that. So the good about it is that, you know, it has all these cool things of obviously blend of familiar. Yeah, it does look quite familiar to the old games. I mean, in some ways with the game modes and vehicles, but it's just tweaked quite a bit. That makes it feel like on its own. It makes it feel kind of individual but familiar at the same time. That's always a sign of a good game. So it does, have its way and its atmosphere and stuff like this. It's just saying maybe like depths of Star Wars Battlefront in it. Yeah, I can get that. We'll just see how it lives up to Star Wars Battlefront, because Star Wars Battlefront, let me tell you, that's a good game. If you want to play it, it's just pure fun, to be honest. It's not necessarily like a masterpiece of story and all, but there's actually no story, to be honest. But it's not. It's a game I like to play. I mean, to me, the best thing about a game is just, is it fun? I mean, obviously, I really like games with stories, but come on, you can't deny a game is fun. You come back and you're addicted to it. So, yeah. Something about Conquest mode here. That's interesting, because Conquest mode is sort of like Walker Assault mode. So apparently it's like sort of like where people are around and shooting at each other, and if it's quite a big map, take each other down. And that's interesting to hear them say that about that. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I haven't played the game, so I can't really give my own unique perspective. But yeah, obviously the ups. It seems like it's pretty much a great blend of the old and new. It seems like they've really nailed down the actual look of it, and the negatives: bad mode, conquest mode, and also some other things that are more like interesting. Yeah, so we'll see as time goes by. Again, you can't make a whole judge based on not much to judge by. You can't really judge by book by its cover again. And that's basically the video. It's interesting to hear about these things, so again, cool. So again, I'm going to make some little subscriber shoutouts, or not such shoutouts, but like things I like. CWM Review Podcast, go check them out. They do real cool. Sorry, not CWM Podcast. I'm looking at the wrong one. Nicotine is a really good wrestling channel where they do like arcade gamings. But what I'm interested in is like the wrestling related stuff. They do a lot of like in-depth talks on just like old wrestling topics. One of my favorite ones was the North Korea one, because they just went into depth on that WCW event that not a lot of people know about. Also, the events and stage designs are very introspective and nice. Secondly, let's pull out our second one here. If we can find it. What Culture MMA, that's actually really interesting. What Culture to Wrestling, or WWE? Well, they've made a new channel, and they've described reasons that I've just discussed today in this video with, CM Punk and his UFC debut and stuff like that. So that's really interesting. And I just think it's fun to look at. So, and also my third one and final one, it's Oliver Harper. He's a movie retrospective, quite famous on YouTube, to be honest, in my community. I mean, the movie community, I'd say, pretty renowned. He does commentaries, haven't seen any of them, of course. I'm not really good for like listening to commentaries, don't really enjoy them, to be honest. But the reviews he does, top notch. He's done a lot of them, and they've all been pretty good. They're called retrospectives, and they're pretty good. And he's done about 8 series of them, so you can go check them out. They're very fun. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment below, share, do all you can to support me. See you all next time. Bye.